over the weekend. And let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to the, last day of November already. How was your weekend? How was your long Thanksgiving weekend? Mine was long because I had to work the entire time. But, it's what it is. It is what it is. But welcome to the show. Dr. Birx, remember Fauci and Birx, or Fasci as I like to say it, she's saying that everybody who went somewhere for Thanksgiving has to be tested for COVID. You should immediately assume that you have COVID. I thought you should know that. Yeah. Wow. We had just only 5 people. And my mother-in-law did not come, out of caution. She's like 75 years old, and she's a cancer survivor. And consequently, she did not make it. But her broccoli salad did, and it was quite delicious. So we enjoyed it thoroughly. Over the weekend, a couple things have happened. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court tossed out a case with regard to the election fraud in Pennsylvania, saying that it was filed too late. I'm not going to get into that. I just heard Joe DeGeneva talk about the case and the ruling and the opinion that was written. He said it was sophomoric. Not a surprise, because there are a lot of tools in our courtrooms. There are a lot of tools in our courtrooms. But Joe, this morning on WMAL, they had a great show today, by the way. So that there are many more opportunities for the Trump campaign to be victorious. And I'm not giving up. Because you know what? I know, because I'm not stupid, that the election is, they're attempting to steal the election. And if you deny it, you're a fool. If you look at 5 states, the night of the election, Joe Biden was way behind, Donald Trump was way out front, and 5 states suddenly stopped counting. The state of Georgia, they stopped counting because in the facility there was a water main break, is what they said. It never happened. There was a leaky toilet. They used that as the excuse. I guess they didn't feel like any forensics would be able to be done. There are thousands of witnesses with trucks coming into voting facilities or counting facilities after hours in the middle of the night. Oddly enough, in those counting facilities, all the cameras had been removed. All of the outdoor cameras had been removed. It's funny, but fortunately there are a lot of witnesses and even some patriotic Democrats coming forward and saying, bullcrap. President did an interview with Maria Bartiromo this weekend and talked about a few things. One, about cheating in the state of Pennsylvania. And here's the deal, guys. Just the 5 states stopping voting on election night should be enough for one of the mainstream media organizations to step forward and do an investigation. Now, you would not, of course, expect this from NBC, CBS, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, none of those. You would expect none of them to go after, because that's where they are. They're political tools. But Fox News isn't even doing it. Fox News, even this weekend, Eric, I can't remember his name, but basically said Trump should just drop it. Fox is dead. They're done. Fox News is dead to me. I like some people there. I like Brett Baer. I like Tucker Carlson, but I can't support that organization if they aren't journalistically curious enough to look into something that is so gigantic. The throwing of a presidential election, when the evidence, even if you just look at, the fact that the down ticket was all Republicans in record numbers, gigantic numbers of Republicans, second and only to Ronald Reagan's landslide in 1980. The down ticket for Republicans flipping houses in states, it was gigantic. The rejection of socialism, socialistic policies, the policies of Joe Biden, even though he has no idea what he's for, really, because he's just a figurehead. By the way, he sprained his ankle playing with his dog this weekend. I guess we should be glad he didn't fall out of the bathtub and break his hip, and then it would be all over. But here is Donald Trump talking about cheating in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and various areas around Philadelphia, they cheat, and they cheat like crazy. So
they always have, too, by the way.
We have him winning Pennsylvania, but you have to allow 5 points for cheating. This is a terrible thing that's happened. The mail-in ballots are a disaster. They sent millions and millions and millions of mail-in ballots. I'm sure you know people that got 2, 3, or 4.
Yep.
Because I do. Where they said, we got 4 ballots. They got one at a country home. Dead people were seeing ballots. But even worse, dead people were applying to get a ballot.
Yep.
They were making application to get ballots. Many.
Yep.
And, we're not talking about 10 people. We're talking there are a lot of dead people that so-called voted in this election. But dead people were, in some cases, in many, many cases, thousands of cases, voted. But also, dead people made application to vote. They were dead 10 years, 15 years, and they actually made application. This is total fraud. And
why isn't Fox News investigating?
How the FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved, but how people are allowed to get away from this stuff with this stuff is
At least Maria Bartiromo is doing something.
unbelievable. This election was rigged. This election was a total fraud, and it continues to be as they hide. And the problem.
And to act like none of this exists, which the mainstream media is doing, is criminal. I made this point before. We live in the greatest engine of economic and individual freedom in the history of mankind, and we have one of the most incredible pieces of legislation in the history of mankind, not just the Bill of Rights, but I'm talking about the First Amendment. No other country in history has had it. And I said this the other day, that when you lose your freedom of expression, life is cheapened. Freedom of expression is incredibly important. I discovered that on Facebook the day after the election. I've still got 5 days in Facebook jail. They just took me down. They offered no excuse and no recourse. They just took me down. They took me down the day after the election. Then you find out that Mark Zuckerberg donated $400 million to be used in largely Democrat states to do what happened, to steal the election. And now you know. So as soon as I get my page back on Facebook, I'm going to tell my 100,000 per week Facebook followers who, for 26 days, don't know what happened to me. I'm going to tell them to go to Parler, Parler, where I'm getting 20, 25, 30,000 views per post. It's just exploded with my Newsmax show. MAGA Book is another one, smaller. It's MAGA Book. And it's a nice little enterprise. I have a profile there. And then also my Rumble page. Instead of YouTube, I'm doing Rumble. Rumble.com. Thank you, Dan Bongino, for all of your support over there. I really appreciate it. Here's the president talking about why the FBI and the CIA are not curious about what's going on with voter integrity. Now, the FBI has reached out to an election integrity researcher for evidence of crimes in the 2020 election. So somebody's maybe looking. The evidence was collected by the Voter Integrity Project, led by Matt Brainerd, former data and strategy director for President Trump's 2016 election. The hashtag FBI has proactively and directly requested from me the VIP findings that indicates illegal ballots. So there's a little bit of a move there. He said that in a tweet. By Tuesday, we'll have delivered to the agency all of our data, including names, addresses, phone numbers, etc. His account was backed by the Amistad Project of the Thomas More Society, the conservative nonprofit. We've learned that Mr. Brainerd was contacted by FBI Agent Young of the FBI Los Angeles field office seeking our data. Mr. Brainerd is fully cooperating with this request, and we fully support him. That's from the project's director, former Kansas Attorney General Philip Klein. The data has been used to identify hundreds of thousands of potentially fraudulent ballots in the states where we filed litigation. So maybe the FBI is looking at this. Maybe there is, like in Sodom and Gomorrah, just one good man who had reached by the Epoch Times via email. An FBI spokesperson said that in keeping with the DOJ standard practice, the FBI neither confirms nor denies the existence of any investigation, and this device will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I actually put that in there. Here's the president talking about where the hell has the FBI been?
Where is the DOJ and the FBI in all of this,
Yep.
Mr. President? You have laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't this be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they?
Missing in
Is the
action.
DOJ investigating?
Missing in action. Can't
Because they're just as swampy as every other place in D.C.
tell you where they are. I ask, are they looking at it? Everyone says yes, they're looking at it. Look, where are they with Comey, McCabe, and all these other people? You know, I said I'll stay out of it. I wish I didn't make that statement. There's no reason really why I have to. But where are they with Comey, with McCabe, with Brennan, with all these?
Here's the thing, and I've said this before, and everybody knows it. There are two systems of justice in the country. Those for the elites and those for us. Comey and McCabe will never probably see jail time. If you have a high government position, you probably will never be punished or put in jail for crimes. The rest of us, however, we're gone.
People, they lied to Congress. They lied. They leaked. They spied in our campaign.
Yep.
I see Carter Page is bringing a lawsuit. That's good news.
$75 million. I love it.
Where are they with all of this stuff? And, what happened to Durham? Where's Durham? So, you're asking me a question.
Well, Durham is going to be without a job when you go back to the White House.
These people have been there a long time. And I know FBI, and FBI is great at the levels that we talk about, but
not at the top.
It's inconceivable. You would think if you're in the FBI or Department of Justice, this is the biggest thing you could be looking at. Where are they? I've not seen anything. I mean, they just keep moving along, and they go on to the next president.
If this were the shoe were on the other foot, and Joe Biden was asking and saying that the election was being stolen from him, the media would be all over it. The FBI and the DOJ would be all over it. That's it. Donald Trump, you know the answer, President Trump. We know the answer. It's just the way we're treated as conservatives. And I'm telling you guys, there is an uprising happening in the country, and it's not necessarily a violent uprising, but there is an uprising. There are people saying, I'm done with this, I'm done with that, I'm done with the Democrat Party. The walk-away movement of the Democrat Party had attracted almost 1 million people. Walk-away movement. Fox News ratings declined 35% during the week, worse on the weekends, because people give you one chance and then they're done. And if you're going to lie, and you're going to avoid, and you're going to declare Joe Biden the winner in Arizona when 3% of the vote is in, then we're done with you. Here's a president talking about getting a case to the Supreme Court.
Well, the problem is it's hard to get into the Supreme Court. I've got the best...
This should be the easiest case that the Supreme Court would ever take. A case where the presidential election of 2020 is being stolen. If the Supreme Court does not take this case, there should be serious legal questions asked about it. I don't know much about Supreme Court impeachment, but I'm right there with John Roberts.
Supreme Court advocates, lawyers that want to argue the case if it gets there. But they said it's very hard to get a case up there. Can you imagine Donald Trump?
If you can get a gay wedding case to the Supreme Court, you can do this one.
The President of the United States files a case, and I probably can't get a case, even with, and we have tremendous proof. We have hundreds and hundreds of affidavits, sworn affidavits, and it's very hard to get a case to the Supreme Court. Well, I'm going to use 125% of my energy to do it. You need a judge that's willing to hear a case. You need a Supreme Court that's willing to make a real big decision based on everything that it's not like you're going to change my mind. In other words, my mind will not change in 6 months.
Of course it won't. Because the truth is with you, sir. Sidney Powell has launched election lawsuits in Michigan and Georgia. Both suits, Powell said, the fraud mainly took place in the form of old-fashioned ballot stuffing, which was rendered virtually invisible by Dominion and Smartmatic's computer software. According to the attorney, both programs were created and funded at the behest of foreign oligarchs, specifically to rig elections. The strategy was first developed and used by Hugo Chavez to ensure he never lost an election. This is what she is saying, and of course everybody's saying she's crazy. Smartmatic CEO Mugica admitted the software was prone to tampering after a similar incident in Venezuela back in 2017. It is therefore with the greatest regret that we have to report that the turnout numbers for the Constituent Assembly in Venezuela were tampered with. It is important to highlight that similar manipulations are made in manual elections in many countries, but they go undetected. In her lawsuit, Sidney Powell noted that especially egregious conduct in several counties in Michigan, Forsyth, Paulding, Cherokee, Hall, and Barrow. Records with the Board of Elections found that more than 96,000 absentee ballots were requested and counted, but were never returned to county clerks for verification, which made them invalid. Another notable incident took place in Fulton County. Powell claimed that poll workers were evacuated from a tabulation center at the State Farm Arena for several hours on November the 3rd. This happened all over the country, 5 states. According to Powell's report, workers were told to evacuate due to a water leak, which requires, it's in Georgia, the facility to close. However, city records show the arena's only water leak happened earlier in the day and did not affect the area where the votes were being counted. It's a bunch of crap. Dear God in heaven. Fox News, where the hell are you? According to the polls affidavit, some employees were left unsupervised during the evacuation. Meanwhile, witnesses in Michigan described incidences where they felt intimidated by poll officials. In some cases, voters were even coached on how to fill out the ballots. In another affidavit, experts witness Russell James Ramsland Jr. claims he witnessed Dominion voting machines injecting or fabricating more than 200,000 votes for Joe Biden. According to his statement, 4 different townships received over 290,000 more votes than they had constituents. Where's Fox News? Newsmax and McLaughlin poll. 2/3 of the nation say it's fair for the president to ask for recounts in key states. 67% of likely voters back Trump's recounts, where the votes margins in his race with Joe Biden were 1% or closer, which includes Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona. 94% of Republicans blame most of the voter fraud in the recent election on Democrats. 6% say Republicans were behind it. I'm sure there are some Republicans. Are you hearing any? I mean, where are all the senators? Where are all the congressmen? Mitt Romney, he bent over and took it a day after the election. Give it up. Paul Ryan took, I guess, a week and a half. The rest of them are being quiet. I've contacted one of my senators, and they, oh, yeah, we'll. I said, why aren't you saying anything about this? Why aren't you fighting this? Oh, you're saying that you want our senator to fight for Donald Trump, and you want, and I've heard nothing. 51% of those polled say voter fraud is a big problem in Democrat-run cities compared to 49% who say it's not a problem, and they're stupid. Overwhelmingly, people approve 90% of voter identification laws that make certain every vote in the election is cast legally. Yeah, it makes sense, right? You gotta bring your ID when you want to get a credit card. Yeah, at Best Buy. Unbelievable. Here's a fun fraud fact. This is from, I think, Daily Caller. Where this is from? This is from Gateway Pundit. Mysterious spike in incomplete Nevada voter registrations, 13,372 with invalid birth dates in casinos and temporary RV parks as the home address. How strange is that? RV parks and casinos. There you go. There's a strange spike. An analysis of Nevada votes has uncovered an unprecedented jump in problem voter registrations, likely providing the Trump campaign with another avenue to challenge Joe Biden's victory in the state. The an affidavit filed in the Republican election challenge, a data scientist found a huge surge of incomplete voter registrations and those giving casinos and temporary RV parks as their home or mailing address in their 3rd congressional district that covers the southern third of the state, much of Clark County. The expert, Dorothy Morgan, said that in her initial study of the votes, the records of those who voted, there was an historically strange jump in voter registrations, missing the sex and age of the voters, making confirmation by poll workers impossible. Fox News, where the hell are you? All 900 military ballots in Fulton County, Georgia, went to Joe Biden. All 900 of them. This was in Georgia. All of them. First of all, the military largely supports Donald Trump. Trump won the military vote 60 to 40% in 2016. I imagine that went up a little bit with the rebuilding of the military in the last 4 years. But in Fulton County, Georgia, 900 military votes all went to Joe Biden. Think about that. If you just looked at 60 to 34%, you're looking at like 700, 650 votes being negated, being stolen from our troops. The Democrat Party, I've said for years, is morally and intellectually bankrupt, and that they would, by the thousands, partake in the attempted stealing of an election is absolutely sickening. The party must be blown up and reinvented or just erased from the planet. And I'm not talking about by violence. I'm talking about you really seriously, if you're a Democrat and you're down with this, you got to really look within your soul as to what you'll do to win. What you support. Unbelievable. This is a piece from CNN. I'll play a little bit of this. I haven't watched the whole thing. This is Fareed Zakaria talking about, this is on CNN. Donald Trump's possible pathway to victory.
That are legal and constitutional that could enable Trump to stay in office without actually winning the vote. The system of electing the president is complicated because it was not designed to be directly democratic.
Thank you.
The Constitution calls for states to choose the presidential electors, who in turn gather to vote for the president. Over time, states have passed laws that ensured their state's popular vote for the presidency would determine the electors. But those are laws, not a constitutional obligation. Now, imagine the scenario during election week. Trump is leading on November 3rd, but Joe Biden pulls ahead in the days following. Republicans file objections to tens of thousands of mail-in ballots. Democrats file countersuits, taking account of the...
I don't hear any countersuits. I'm not seeing the countersuits here. I'm not anybody. There's nobody on the Democrat side saying, here we have actual proof that Joe Biden got 80 million votes, so 15 million more than Barack Obama.
Confusion. Legislators decide to choose the electors themselves.
You hear crickets.
Here's the worry. Of the 9 swing states, 8 have Republican legislatures. If one or more decide that balloting is chaotic and marred by irregularities, they could send what they regard as the legitimate slate of electors, which would be Republican. Democrats may object and file lawsuits. In some of those states, Democratic governors or secretaries of state could send their own slates of electors to Washington. That would add to the confusion, but that might well be part of the Republican plan.
Yes.
Because you see, when Congress convenes on January 6th to tally the electors' votes, there would be challenges to the legitimacy of some electors.
Never stop fighting.
It's possible congressional Republicans could decide that disputed states should simply not be counted. Suppose in the scenario Michigan's votes are invalidated, that would ensure that neither candidate would get to 270 electoral votes. At that point, the Constitution clearly directs that the House of Representatives vote to determine the presidential election. But it does so with each state casting a single ballot.
Ooh.
If the current numbers hold, there would be 26 state delegations that are Republican and 23 Democratic, with one tied. So the outcome would be to re-elect Donald Trump. Trump doesn't need to do anything other than to simply accept this outcome.
Okay. No, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be, they're going to continue to fight this because there is rampant fraud throughout the country. Unfortunately, there are crooked judges everywhere. Crooked judges everywhere. I'm going to do a couple more stories here. I want to shift to what's happening with regard to COVID and the government kicking down the door to your Thanksgiving dinner. In states like Minnesota, the governor said that there could be only 6 people in your home, and you could not have other people in your household who don't live there. There were. I'm trying to remember if this was California, I think, but if that parades were allowed, but if you're in a car in a parade, there cannot be people who live in different households in the car. These rules are stupid and terrifying at the same time. That someone at the government level, whether it be local, state, national, would come up with these rules is frightening in itself. Their enforcement is laughable. However, it is an edict, and some can take advantage of it. By the way, do you remember this is an interesting story by Mike LaChance. 2016, Democrats threatened and harassed members of the Electoral College to stop Trump. They did. Electors around the country were harassed with a barrage of emails, phone calls, letters, even death threats. It overwhelmed Sharon Geis's technical devices, but did not resolve her resolve to vote for Trump in Mesa, Arizona. She woke up Wednesday morning, 2016, 1,500 emails demanding she not carry out her legal duty to vote for the president. They just kept coming. GOP electors were badgered. Also happened in other states, including Georgia, Idaho, Tennessee, Arizona, Utah, and Michigan. Happened. Yeah. One elector told CNN she was getting death threats. A college student from Michigan said Wednesday, this was again 2016, that she'd received death threats after being chosen to cast an electoral vote in the state in December of 2016. So there you go. Blah, 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 blah. So 1/3 of New Jersey businesses that have been closed because of COVID will close permanently. It's according to a report from the Star Ledger. It's really bad, and without federal dollars coming into New Jersey, the Main Street stores and other establishments are not going to make it through the winter. This is according to Eileen Keene, the state director of the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Harvard-based data project trackrecovery.org estimated 31% of businesses have closed down so far as of November the 9th. The number is just above the national average estimated by the website. The New Jersey Business and Industry Association reported similar numbers, estimating 28% of businesses had closed down by October. New Jersey, like most of the U.S., is experiencing huge numbers and surges in COVID. However, if you watch my last show, Johns Hopkins University said that the overall deaths in America have not increased. That study was buried, was taken down, but some people saved it. Let me see if I can find that real quick, because it's pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful stuff. It shows that we are being played. Here we go, Johns Hopkins. This is the study in Johns Hopkins that was mysteriously taken down. Johns Hopkins study mysteriously disappears after it's revealed in spite of COVID, there were no more deaths in 2020 than in previous years. You would think that we would have mass graves, giant trenches with bodies everywhere. Gateway Pundit reported in August the CDC, only 6% of all deaths labeled as COVID deaths were solely, according to the virus. The other were comorbidities like being over 80 years old. Being over 80 years old, yeah. According to the study, in contrast to most people's assumptions, the number of deaths by COVID-19 is not alarming. In fact, it has relatively no effect on deaths in the United States. That's Johns Hopkins University, people. There was a protest at the governor's mansion. The governor had no problem eating out the other night at a restaurant, and I'll play the video of that if you haven't seen it yet. Here is Phil Murphy. This is at his mansion, and the only thing missing here are the torches and the pitchforks, which I think would be apropos.
I'm live here at Governor Murphy's Street, where we are protesting his unconstitutional orders, as well as to stop the steal. Currently, Governor Murphy is not letting us down the street. He's blocking us
People are pissed.
from going down the street. So let me show you what's going on here.
Why do you think this is acceptable?
So the police are blocking us from going down Governor Murphy's street.
You are not above the law.
It's a public street.
But you got hundreds
If we were Black Lives Matter protests, it wouldn't be a problem.
and hundreds of pissed off Republicans.
Come on.
Here's the United States. Not Murphy's law. This is the New Jersey Constitution and the U.S.
We are done with these tyrannical bastards.
Constitution. You cannot mark
COVID dictators is what I call them. The Democrat Party has no idea the force, the magnitude of the resistance from those who voted for Donald Trump. They have no idea what's about to hit them.
Don't be a Jew rat!
Bye-bye. Here's the New Jersey governor dining out with his family without masks the other night. Now, I've said this before. You've got Nancy Pelosi getting her hair cut. You've got Muriel Bowser of D.C. driving to Delaware to go to a victory party for Joe Biden. You've got Gavin Newsom going out to dinner for hours, dining with 22 people, a $15,000 bar tab, no masks, anything like that. And these Democrat governors either have a death wish or they don't believe the BS that they're feeding us. Yes, it's number two. That's it. They don't believe it. This is all about control.
Oh my God, it is. Hey, how you doing?
No mask. Hey, Governor.
You're having fun with your family. In the meantime, you're having all kind of other bullshit going on at your
A little too drunk?
No.
60% of businesses that have closed because of COVID will never reopen in New Jersey. Governor Murphy, enjoy your steak.
I'm not drunk, as a matter of
Can
fact.
you put your mask on?
You can yourself. How's that?
Yeah.
Mask on. You know why?
Put your mask on, you little
Because there ain't nothing
douche.
wrong with me.
I like your Trump phone.
You're right.
Guess
you
who
do.
Trump likes? He likes my dad.
Yeah, he does. No,
No, I don't think he does.
Oh, he does.
I don't think he does. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, he's got his mask back on. There you go. Okay, I was mistaken. I'll just go ahead and put that back on. What an idiot. Dear God. Oh, I'm going to show you something vomitous, okay? This is Jane Pauley talking about President-elect Joe Biden. And this is the kind of stuff that you're going to get, okay? Do you remember before Donald Trump went into the White House, do you recall any media talking about the possible pets he has, or what they're going to do to the White House, or they're going to spruce it up? No, it's been a bloodbath. It's been a bloodbath of negativity. He's got one of the most beautiful, intelligent wives as a first lady ever. She would be the second coming of Jackie O if she were a Democrat, but instead she is savage. She is absolutely savage. How she decorates the White House, how she did the Rose Garden, everything is terrible. She is absolutely awful. She is I don't know, Ava Braun, for crying out loud. But with Joe Biden, everything's sunshine and roses. Watch this, and if you're eating something or have eaten something, just be prepared to have some sort of a waste basket near you, because you're probably going to want to throw up.
And now some breaking news. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife Jill won't just be bringing their
This isn't breaking news. This is just stupid.
German Shepherds, Major and Champ, to the White House. The Bidens tell us exclusively that soon they'll be joined by a cat.
Here comes the coffee. Oh, God, she's just awful. All right. So I got to go to work. I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. I want to remind you something here. Here's the deal. Just thought you should know that I am going to announce today who is going to win. I don't have it here. Who is going to win a freezer full of beef from Hassel Beef Company, Hassel Cattle Company in Texas. It's Wagyu beef, and also a pit barrel cooker. All right, one of my new subscribers to Rumble or YouTube is going to win that prize today. But guess what? We're going to do it again in December. Oh, yeah. Check out Hassel, Hassell, Hassel Cattle Company, okay? And also check out pitbarrelcookers.com. They're amazing. Oh, my God. And then we got all these T-shirts up here. T-shirts, you can put these designs, Cancel Fox News, on mugs, on onesies, fake news channel for Fox, party like it's 1776. Thank you very much, Cancel Fox News. And, of course, America Supremacist. Be a proud America Supremacist. Before I go, I want to play John Voight. I like the way he reads. I like his patriotism. And here he is for the final note of the show today.
We're heading down a street that has no name now. We must not allow our nation to crumble. This is what they want, to destroy America. Let me warn you all that we are in great danger if we fall under a Biden administration. Our state, California, is being ruled by a leftist mob. Himself, Governor Newsom, is taking away our freedom, your freedom. He's a disgrace to mankind, he and his relative Nancy Pelosi, who has tried to bring President Trump down.
Nancy's his aunt.
Governor Newsom has destroyed many lives of people who depended on their businesses, and now he wants to shut down again. He is a lie, like all the left that are trying to destroy the USA. I ask all to fight this battle now, to get them all out. I've been attacked by my fellow peers saying I am preaching violence, when the truth is, they all are. The left are burning and destroying our cities. We are willing to fight for freedom, not freedom to burn down our flag, but to raise her up with the glory of this land of the free. But the left are trying to stop these truths. Let us bring justice to the Supreme Court. Let them see how corrupt the left is with their fraudulent votes. Let the truth show itself that President Trump is the only man that can save this nation. Let us fight this evil now.
He's right.
And know that God's truths will expose them all. Let me ask all to pray in the name of Jesus, Moses, and all saints for their hands of safety to be on us now. The way in which we are being targeted will be hard to fix, but with all your love and prayers and truths, we can win this battle against this evil force that has taken over this country.
He's spot on.
We must get Governor Newsom out.
Yes.
He's destroying the people's freedom. We must remember who we are. We are a nation that fought the Civil War, and we won that battle. Let's not give up. God bless.
Thank you, my brother. All right, time for me to go, guys. I want to thank you for joining me. Be strong. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't get dispirited. Don't get down. When you do, talk to somebody who will get you back up again. I greatly appreciate you watching. God bless you guys, and I'll see you again soon.